Hello everybody, it's Magnetonics here. Welcome back to another video. So this one's going to be a bit different than usual. I'm actually not planning on playing any PvP today, so it'll also probably be quite a bit shorter than usual. I just wanted to have some sort of video out there, kind of go through a few things. Suppose anyone who pops into the stream might be a bit disappointed, but I just wanted it to be out there. So I started streaming about probably almost 2 months ago now, and basically I've just been recording what I've already been doing on Temtem, and it's been pretty fun. But in that time, I've noticed how small the player base is for this game, I suppose. It's not that I ever did this to... hey Biker, welcome. It's not like I ever started this to like grow big as a streamer or anything. But it does take a certain amount of extra work to be able to put these sort of videos out. And I feel like it's just... there's not a whole lot of people that actually even watch this. Honestly. I almost have more videos on my YouTube than I have subscribers. Even the in-depth guides, which I had designed to be shorter videos, specifically to help people who want to play comp with specific Tems, those actually get like hardly any views. It's actually pretty disappointing. So, I mean, I've had a lot of time in the afternoons up till now, but I'm actually starting my last semester of school, so coming up here, I'm probably going to start streaming less. So I want that. I'll still stream here and there and probably post videos, but it's going to be a lot less than I've been doing. Lately I've been doing like 5 or 6 videos a week. Gets to be a lot. And I might even play Temtem sometimes without streaming. I haven't done that a whole lot at all since then, since I started. And I mean, the big reason for the change outside of IRL stuff is I am just not happy with the state of the game right now. I've kind of hinted at that back and forth over previous streams. But playing in the last regional and just losing... like, I know I was playing MIDI and it was a meme. What I was trying to figure out was why wasn't I enjoying it? Because there's always a reason for that. And if you're not having fun with it, why bother playing? It's kind of always been my thing. And I think what frustrates me most right now is that I cannot find a team where I feel like I have an even chance to win any matchup. Currently, I feel like the game is more matchup dependent than ever before. Because you can't... since so many options have been restricted, you're not able to build highly flexible teams that can really perform well in all situations. The only way to do that now is to just pick the Tems with the most stats, basically, and just kind of like... it almost feels like a new neutral meta, back when everything was just balls of stats and you just threw them against each other. And then just... whoever has the better ones wins. But I mean, that's not even exactly true. But it just feels like what the game's trending to in recent balance changes is that they're giving more and more Tems stats when what I think they need is a niche. And they're actually taking niches and options away from Tems rather than adding them back. I could be hopeful for next patch. And I debated on making this until I saw the mid-season patch. But I don't know if I'm going to play a whole lot until we see that patch. Even off stream, I have been making teams, just theoretically, just like, would this work against this, that, or the other team? And I have been having little to no success. It's cool that we have a meta with so many teams that are played, but every single one of them has matchups where they automatically lose, and that infuriates me. I don't I don't think it's good team design to build a team that has 4 digi weaknesses, because all it takes is a team with like 2 or 3 digis, and all of a sudden you lose. Hey Millie, welcome. Just a rant about me complaining about the meta today, unfortunately. So, yeah. My favorite playstyles have been nerfed. Like, I feel like I definitely understand how the stall players feel. Because losing control options feels really bad for me. Just heard the end of it. Yeah. Yep, just wanted this out there so people kind of get an idea of where I'm at and kind of why I'm not streaming or gonna like start streaming way less. Another thing was just like the low player activity in the game is I tried the Pokemon Club designed to directly help new players, and just it had so little interest. Like, I saw so many players on the main Discord asking for help, but when it comes down to it, and even if I am going around and investing like half an hour trying to make a team for a player, help them learn how to play it, and maybe even coach them, and then they quit the game, that's not only sad, but it just feels like a huge waste of time. The player retention in this game is awful. Most players that start comp don't play it for more than a week. The same players we have playing comp today are players that have played comp for the last few months, years even. We just don't have any new players, and I don't know what I could possibly do to help reach more players. Even the people that watch these videos, most of them are already established players, and to all of you newer players interested in the game, I'm glad you watch and appreciate my content. I hope to see you in High Ladder someday. But yeah, I mean, that's why you're pretty hesitant to ask for help, since you wasn't sure if you were going to stick with it or not. I mean, I never have a problem helping people that genuinely want to learn. But yeah, it does feel bad to help people that just know that they aren't going to play. Like, yeah, Temtem is almost a game where you have to continuously play it. It's not something you can just play for a little on and off. I mean, you could, but the PvP, like the comp scene in this game, doesn't really allow for that. Oh, sorry. No, Dread, I'm not talking about you. You've played this game plenty, especially with all the teams I made. I'm not directing this at you in any way. It's just, I started a new club. It's called the Pookie Pond. And there was very little interest after multiple posts on the main Discord, with the biggest influx of players we've had probably since 1.0 because of the Humble Bundle sale. And I had about 12 people interested, and the only one that stuck around was somebody who would have stuck around without my influence at all. So Grandma does no advertising. Yeah, honestly, I'm not even gonna get into the entire issues with the game and Crema. I don't think things have been handled particularly well, and it does feel bad to invest a lot of time and effort into a game that is just gonna die slowly. We're not gaining players. We're losing them. It's sad, but it's the truth. Temtem Showdown was designed to help players that didn't buy the game. I've seen player counts on that of like 1 to 2, and almost all the people that do play on it are using alt accounts. So that was a complete waste of development time. Okay, no, don't go into too much of a rant. I'm just it's just I'm frustrated with the meta and the direction that the balance team's going. I the and also kind of what the community wants for this game as well, because the balance team has created comp feedback threads in the main Discord asking like specific tems and traits and how to fix them and make them better. And I disagree so badly with so many people's opinions because they're all like, just give it stats, just give it this, that, or the other, and it'll be better. And I just don't think it will be. Like you could, I think that optimally, each tem should have a trade-off. It should do one thing really well at the cost of something else, and then you should have to kind of play around that weakness. But you should be able to play around the weakness. I read your essay on Piranhient. I did. You were the one that responded after mine because you play patient Piranhients, and you didn't like my idea of removing bulk from Piranhients in order to make it. Because my idea was to make energy reserves more like tireless, so Piranha could proc it by itself. You didn't talk about bulk? Okay, well I got mixed up a bit. There was a lot of people posting. Oh, you just disagreed with the entire thing of my post. You just said you don't like it getting out the condition. It's still a condition. It's basically, it was just it's very similar to tireless. The problem with energy reserves right now is the Piranhient has no way to proc it itself. You're at complete mercy of the opponent. And while it's nice to have that counterplay option as the opponent, that's what makes Piranha feel bad to play. So they could just rework energy reserves entirely, and I don't think that would be bad. But I played Piranhient earlier this patch, and right now it's completely ignorable. Like you can invest max attack in it, you can have it like be in like H slap support, purgation support, or anything, but it runs out of stamina so quickly. And if it doesn't have the energy reserves boost, it's not an offensive threat. So you just ignore it. Can't even have a good 3-turn rotation without investing over 100 stamina TVs. It's like Piranhient's really just a prime example of something that Krem has just failed to help out in the correct ways. Because people always say, like when I was talking about those threads, people always say just give it stats, just give it moves, just give it this, that, or the other. Piranhients has been given like so many stats and so many moves that are just completely random. It has insane move pool and options, but people don't even play it because it has other issues. My idea was to give 2 speed stages and energy reserves so it could technically proc it yourself and it would become faster than anything on the board. Yeah, like that wouldn't be bad particularly either. Because then it's more like resilient almost then. Like you get really low health and you get one last hit off before you die. But I guess with energy reserves you could actually stay around longer and just be a late game sweeper. So something like that would definitely be alright. Was your change also to lower it to +2 attack? So it's +2 attack, +2 speed? I think +4 attack, +2 speed is nuts. And just 2 speed isn't enough at all. Just hit your Piranha. I think that's silly. The only viable way you could do that is Toxin Shower. And if you're putting your Piranha in +3 attack, +2 speed, yeah, I suppose. Even at that rate, I think you would almost need to remove some bulk from it. It actually has insane bulk. It's not okay. But then that would give Piranha a niche of your Flood idea. I haven't played with Flood enough to really give a strong opinion on it. I don't think Flood is unusable right now. I've actually seen some really good Floods, mainly from Oshiara's turn 1, and Calibus's as well, since Calibus kind of has the move slot for it. So I don't think of Flood necessarily needs a rework in any way. Yeah. I think the bigger thing is that, like, there's no... So many teams are run slow right now. You're either running max speed, no speed, or some random breakpoint that I can never guess on Tums. That's what it seems to be nowadays. And in my last stream or two, I had arguments, or I had some discussions with Kip about investing speed versus bulk, essentially. Because Kip thought it would be better to invest speed. I think Felix also said that the best thing you can do in Temtem is to outspeed your opponent. And I was saying that, well, like, when your TV spreading, it's better to invest in HP. Because if you can't live, it doesn't matter how fast you are. Because the way the bulk kind of works in Temtem is that you almost can't double in neutrally to kill anything. There's very few situations where you can, and outspeed, I should say. You'd basically have to facing. You'd have to face a mid-range team. No, you'd have to face another aggro team and just outspeed, and that's so silly, because then if you don't face another aggro team, your speed is useless, and you almost just lose, because the bulky Tems end up winning. 90% of the time, you either run max speed and damage, or max HP bulky aggro. Exactly, and I think that's generally the best way to do it, unless you're hitting a specific speed breakpoint. And what I've noticed lately is that the speed breakpoints people are hitting it just feels so random. It's instead of dumping HP, people are dumping speed, which is the opposite of what I do. So I guess I could try that. Maybe I should before I judge it. But you end up wasting a lot of speed TVs then. Because if you look at the base speeds of all the Tems, and if you look at how many of them actually invest speed versus the ones that don't invest speed, there's a certain point where basically between like 232 and I think like 272, if you have a speed breakpoint that lands between there, most of the time, more often than not, I think it's going to be useless. I think, okay, maybe 265. I think that's the breakpoint for if you have +1 speed, you'll outspeed 221s. Or the 330. The max speed 100 Tems. But essentially, there's a lot of speed breakpoints that people are hitting that largely do not help them in games, but they invest in them. That's kind of it. What's the current meta in a nutshell? It's a lot of just straight value. It's so the common things are Yowler, Schween, Cycrox, Adoro, Tuvine, Volphy. I'd say those are the main 6. Cycrox, because Neurotox, they made it so the Purgation doesn't remove Doom anymore. So Cycrox basically gets to kill any one Tem it wants within a matter of turns, and it also provides support with Strangle to just prevent Tems from doing anything, or it could apply second Doom with Digi-Threat. Schween can apply buffs, can sleep now because it has Crystal Deluge, prevents statuses with Guardian. It has a really loaded kit. Adoro gets Toxic Skin value, has insane bulk that people just invest like 700 plus bulk TVs in. And it also has Denigrate, which now lowers special attack. Yowler is just Yowler, but now building blocks got buffed. So Yowler can infinitely scale defenses by doing nothing. Volphy just has double prio, and an insane defensive typing, as well as a couple support options. So offensively, it's super threatening. So you can't have anything on the field that it's strong against, otherwise you lose trades automatically. But if you don't have something that it's strong against, you win trades. So it's just super matchup dependent. Funny enough, like Nagais we haven't even seen as much of lately because... Actually, I don't even know why people stopped playing Nagais. Because, I mean, there was how many Digi-Aggro teams in the tournament today? At least 3 in top cut. But there were only 2 Nagas in the entire tournament. Absolutely crazy. What's your occasional other stuff with Yowler? Notice stall Tsubaki win today's tourney? Yes, he did. I think he went undefeated the entire tourney. I mean, he may have lost like 1 match, but I think he was 5-0 in Swiss and then won the entire way through winner's bracket. Neurotoxin has been your least favorite trait since introduction. Such awful design. Yeah, I thought that I suggested some changes to that in the past, but nobody ever really cared. Means your favorite Tem, don't like playing stall. That's a bit of an unfortunate combo. It does have a bit of a role right now as a Deluge user. But largely, it's best for really bulky stall option teams. Pivoting away from Temtem streaming or just for today? I mean, streaming as a whole has only been designed for Temtem. I've only wanted to stream Temtem. It's not that I'm going to completely stop, but I'm going to probably cut it down to once, maybe twice a week. It's not... So I've been streaming Temtem whenever I play the game, but I'm probably going to just play less, at least until the mid-season update. Possibly, if that's bad, until 1.5. But it sucks because in less than a month now, we already have the like regional qualifiers or whatever. I don't know. It's like the big regional tournaments. So it's like we're actually getting close to the end of the Tem CS season. But I hate every team I've played. The midi team was a meme. It was kind of fun. I do like playing around Deluge as it's one of the better control options left remaining in the game. But it's still just... In my first 2 matches, I ran into Tems that had energy drink. And I couldn't know that, so it ended up in insta-losing my first match against each of them. And then from there, it was a disadvantage. It's like, that's not even a big complaint, it's just like, it's counterplay to control. I can't complain too much. But it is frustrating to lose against. Not playing Naga because the top players stopped doing it. With your Schween and Rage setup, internship just ended, so I figure that's why you said you couldn't play as much. Yeah, it's a combination of me getting less time to play, and in the free time that I do have, choosing that I'm probably gonna choose not to play Temtem. Because I've had enough time up until now that I could kind of like switch it up a little bit, but I'm gonna actually have less time coming up, probably. I guess I don't know. What the regional championships, whatever those are, and next month is interregional qualifier, whatever that is. Yeah, I know. They don't. I don't even know what they are. They don't have anything for us to really tell. I mean, even with getting just completely wrecked in this tourney, I think I might be top 5 or top 6 in a bad case. Just because the regionals are hardly worth anything compared to the interregionals. We're looking forward to 1.4 when they push the arcade bar back. It was sad. Don't know if it would have been fine, but you anticipate this had to be something to be. Yeah. Yeah, that's just the Crema game philosophy issues. I heard rumors that they're even pushing back arcade bar another patch, and it's no longer even really an arcade bar. Arcade bar was pushed back for Showdown, which was a complete flop because they didn't put any effort into the onboarding, and the UI is awful. So, I don't know. Well, stuff around it aren't even in the calendar, so there's that. I think they're somewhere. Like, every time somebody seems to have the dates, I just don't know them offhand. Guess we'll see what ends up happening in the future. Yeah. I mean, 1.5 is going to be really decisive for me. If 1.5 is an awful patch, if they don't add enough options back to the Tems they took them away from, and if they just throw stats at all the Tems that people are complaining are problematic because they're too weak, I'm quitting. Like, genuinely. It's going to infuriate me. Like, I'm already in a bit of a rough spot. But so cool with the idiots. Make my club to help people. I got into an argument with somebody in Vidiots, one of the leaders, but I also wanted to make the club to help people. So you enjoyed this patch. You had an 8-month break. You're getting bored already again. Yeah, longest break I took was about 2 months when Scarlet Violet came out, and that was it. So I've basically been playing all the way through since Arbury release. And the metas, like, they don't cycle stuff in and out often enough. Tolkien's, like, I don't know, that's just their design philosophy, though. Like, Tolkien has been the strongest fire for years now, because every other fire can't stand on its own. I was able to use Anatan last patch. That's not great this patch. They don't have a design philosophy. They do, though. They definitely do, because they'll ignore all feedback that's geared towards some things and listen to other feedback that aligns with whatever their idea is of a perfectly balanced game. And I don't know what it is, and every time I've tried to ask, they ignore me. So it's like they have some idea of what they want, but they refuse to express it. And whatever it is, I disagree with it. Yeah, it's just I don't want to have to. I would like to keep playing this game, and I realize already that I'm one of the few and only content creators out there for Temtem right now. But I understand why there's so few. They try to fix Tems, but they clearly have no big plan, no general idea for the Tems. Well, they can look at a Tem in I think the problem is that they look at Thames in isolation, and don't look at them at the big picture. They don't like they can look at. I can't even really give an example. Maybe they don't even do that. It's like I don't. There's some changes where I just don't understand. Valley are namely. Why like? What makes you remove black hole and intimidation to differentiate it from Sandby, and then add nightmare feed, another move that Sandby has. I to this day, and I don't think I will ever understand that decision. Need something to do when you're not playing competitive that's fun. Yeah. Yeah, everything that's not competitive in this game just feels like a grind. So that makes sense. First thing would be to look at every Tem and give them rolls and stuff, and try and balance around that. They just try to make Tems viable, which leads to all those stat buffs. Yeah, exactly. They need to give the Tems like a niche, or a niche, as most people call it. But if you didn't understand what I say, it's just it needs to fill some sort of role that makes it unique. Like Valiar used to be the fastest and bulkiest Bamboozle user. They took Bamboozle away from it, so now it's only just another Stare user, which every other Stare user is the same. Like you look at Piranha, why don't people use that? Well, if you look at your mono water types, Oshiara and Ukama do just about everything Piranha wants to do offensively the same, but actually better. And people always compare Raiken and Kapire because the differentiation between those two is very little. Like, you have Raiken that wants to finish off Tems when they're low health, and you have Kapire that wants to sweep late games. So why don't you focus more their movesets more around that idea? Like, what if you gave Raiken some priority that doesn't require it to have a partner next to it, so it has a more reliable way to finish off low health Tems and then get scaling faster? It can be weak, and I guess throwing priority at everything isn't healthy, but I don't know. I don't know. I was just trying to think of ideas off the spot. I didn't have anything written down or planned. Yeah, priority is another big issue of just they throw priority at everything, make it better. Like, that's all Hazrat needed for it to skyrocket in viability, right? They gave Venomous Claws priority, and all of a sudden it's like the most used fire type in the Invitational. And it's still seeing use today. So usually your competitive games are decided by one single decision. You need de-stress thing to do. In this case, doesn't exist, so you play other games. You know. Yeah, a comp will always be stressful in any game. And when Saipark and getting frustrated that you just wasted an hour to not find a Luma isn't exactly a good way to de-stress. Like, heal supports, there's so many better healers than Piranha. Piranha's, I wouldn't even consider it a heal support. It's basically like a buff support with Fluid Barrier and or Beef Up. But I guess it's kind of got like a heal option. Should give Execution a Raiken, though they'd probably produce the Threshold again. I don't know, but like Execution's 3 hold and low prio. I don't think it would be that unreasonable. But yeah, that's a better example than giving it priority. Because then it can finish off something, get the boost, and it fits its playstyle. And it would give it differentiation from Kapire. Like, So, a while ago, back when I was playing Old Wrecked Farewell on Zenith, I recommended that it get knockback. Because knockback, like Zenith was like C tier at the time. It was not played very often at all. Knockback would help the channeler, which is the more popular trait, by giving Zenith a coverage move. And then knockback would also help Wreck Farewell, while extremely niche, but it would give it a way to self-OX better. And while they eventually added it, it took them like 2 or 3 patches after I asked. So sure, they're not going to listen to me directly, but it fits the Thames theme, and I think it could have had that move on release and helped significantly. And Zenith is in a much better spot now, except for the fact that it's the highest base stat total Tem in the game because they had to throw a million stats at it before they added knockback, because they thought that would fix it first. Just want to check in, see how you're doing. How's my internship? What games have I been playing? Got any new plans for next semester? Yeah, good to see you too, Dread. My internship went really well. I'm actually sticking around longer, finishing up a project that they had me do that's taken a while. They all seem to like me. With any luck, I'll actually get to continue working there. Games have I been playing? I've been playing a lot of Vault Hunters mod, Minecraft, with a buddy of mine. Still League of Legends here and there. Pokemon Unite is probably the only game that I can think of right now that's actually taking a worse direction than Temtem. But I'll still play that on occasion. New plans for next semester? Not really. Just it's my last semester. Just gonna kind of finish it out. I'm mad they decided to kill Stall Raiken. Yeah, there's no reason for them to. Like, Roar is really strong now, but like killing Raze, which was actually a really cool Tem, and basically killing Raiken's other trait sucks. Knockback probably isn't even run on Zeno these days. That's just because Quartz Shield gives so much value. Because everything has so much bulk. Back a couple patches ago, before the balance team was specifically formed, really, teams were faster, and knockback absolutely would have been run. Not to mention the fact that there's hardly any fires that are viable. We get the job. Lots of math. Thanks. Yeah, lots of math, but I enjoy it. I don't know. That was the majority of kind of what I wanted to say. Long and the short, gonna stream less. I hope that the game gets better. If it doesn't, I'm not gonna want to support it any longer. Also, I've spent a lot of time in Saipark off stream as well, and I haven't got the stupid Umisha yet. Like, I don't care, but it's just like it's just more time. That's like, why would I invest it in a game that's dying? I had my hopes rise at the anime announcement, but after thinking about it, I realized that's only going to bring in kids, and those kids aren't going to play an endgame or PvP. I'm just going to play the story. It's like the PvP in this game is so good, it just wasn't sold well enough. I don't know. I think the game is tough. It's in a tough spot. Gonna, yeah. Don't know. That's really all I got. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Sorry for the the negative stream, but just wanted to give an update to everything. Oh, and I am gonna shut down the Pookie Pond and head over to Vanity. Maybe join some Dojo Wars with them if they're running them at all. But I probably got the most friends left in Vanity there, so that's where I'm gonna head. No offense to any of the other clubs, of course. I just that's just the club I got the most friends in. So I got one more message. Issue with balancing teams that they took players. On one hand, those are probably not the best choices from the available pool, and on the other hand, they probably don't have a clue how to go about stuff. From what I heard, they hardly actually listen to the players. Like, the players will offer ideas, and if the balance team doesn't like it, they'll shut them down, and they won't even listen. So, I don't think that was really an issue at all. I think the problem is more with the balance team themselves. Like, Crema has a vision for the game, but they won't share it, and I don't think it's a good direction. That's just kind of it. Like a good example was Jack of all trades Valash. Apparently, the players that they brought in on the team, like from last patch, they said, "Do not make this +2. It would be broken," and the balance team didn't listen. So Valash dominated a whole meta with Deno. Alright, that'll be all. Thanks for tuning in. Don't know when my next stream will be, but hope to see you guys there. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.